Going to do an insight video today. A lot of things have changed lately, like the vibrations, the frequencies, the energy, and this is all sort of evolution of consciousness and awareness. And this is going on all the time. Like when you talk about the eternal moment, or you talk about the infinite self and infinite vibrations, frequency. You talk about source. It's always ever evolving, and this is what's going on the planet at the moment. This is what's going on within our reality, but also many different realities. And this is going on all the time, and it's integrating within our reality. And it's like a natural evolution. This has been going on for years and years and years as vibrations change and frequencies change, and then we start to integrate them within our consciousness and in our awareness. And this is all part of the divine source and the divine flow and source energy guiding us, and the infinite dimensions and realities guiding us. And this is what, when you start talking about like higher consciousness, or well, infinite consciousness. I don't, like I said, I use the word higher. It's like a default thing that we all use, like higher. I don't like higher. I don't like lower. I don't like any kind of sort of like label in the sense that limits. So I like to use the word infinite, and use the word infinite because it's ever evolving, and infinite means infinite sort of levels, infinite sort of not even levels, but infinite vibrations, frequencies, and sort of energy. So I use the word infinite because it's everlasting, it's ever evolving, and it's ever sort of moving and shaping and forming. So for me, that's very much around sort of like the words I like to use. I like to use like higher self, because I think higher self or lower self again is like a limitation. It's saying that one's higher, the one's lower. Well, it's all one. It's all oneness vibration, oneness frequency. So this is why I use the word infinite, and this is what I feel I've been guided to sort of like. When I start talking about source and I start talking about soul and I talk about infinite self, I like to talk about that as infinite, because I feel that it's saying that there's many different sort of vibrations and frequencies, and they're just different. Then they're not better, and that's a really key sort of thing. Because when we start looking at what's better or what we're trying to achieve or anything like that, we limit ourselves, because we start thinking that we have to arrive somewhere, and we're looking for a destination. When you start talking about source creation and source vibration and infinite frequency and infinite sort of vibration, there is no destination. Everything is there, ever evolving, and it is ever available. There isn't a time where you're trying to get somewhere. You're already there. It's like, again, this concept of you're sort of like the infinite self is you're everything you ever wish to be. You already are. In this sense, it's like you are perfect. Also, the infinite self is integrated within a human experience. It's here now, and it's always been here now. It's never been separate. Again, this is separation. Is this notion of limitation, that we're separate from something. We've never been separate. We've always been one, and whatever form we're in, we're always one. We're always connected. We're always connected to the infinite dimensions and realities. And I want to talk about like the evolution, in the sense as I start getting into this energy now, we start looking at this. Before, we talked about things like synchronicity, we talked about like manifestation, and I feel like it's evolving now. We're not talking about sort of manifestation. We're not talking about synchrony and synchronicity anymore, because synchronicity, I think, within spiritual vibrations and frequencies, was still a sort of vibration as we're gaining consciousness and awareness of an out there vibration, out there frequency, seeing that synchronized, waiting for something, something to align, something to come into view. And I with the guidance and the vibrations and frequencies that are coming through now, the new frequencies, or the infinite frequencies. I'm not even going to use the word new, because again, using new is saying old and new, when actually it's infinite. What we're doing is we're stepping into these infinite frequencies, these infinite vibrations, um, this infinite source energy that's always been there. We've always been aware of it. Not aware of it, we've always been connected and aligned to it. We've always been one with it. But the key thing is consciousness and awareness, and that's what we're stepping into now. And in synchronicity, when people talked about synchronicity within spiritual realms and realities, they always talked about looking for the signs. Well, I think it's shifted from that now, and it's not like you're looking for the signs, that you create your reality. You are the center of it all. You are the creator. As this shifts into this infinite vibration. See, I'm going to say new again. This is the human language that we use, but the human language is not the spiritual realities and dimensions, or the source energy and dimensions. It's not human language. It's sensations, it's vibration, it's energy. So as creators, we don't we're not waiting for something to happen. What we do is we create it. We so like there's formless realities and formless dimensions of pure consciousness and pure creation, and what we're doing is we're creating from those energies by aligning with them to our oneness vibration, our oneness frequency. We're expanding our consciousness, and then what we do is then it's sort of like that energy is created and know it's already created, because as soon as you start creating something from your source, it's already created, and it's there. And it might take time for it to come out of the formless realities into the physical reality, or like it into this human experience. And you only do that by your awareness, by reinforcing your consciousness and awareness that that's been created. You know it's been created, right? So once you create it, it's out. It's happened. It's not out there. It's in a formless reality. You've created it. You've created it with pure consciousness and energy. That vibration, that frequency, that reality, that vision is already created. And then what it is then you just create it within you and you step into it. So you're not waiting for it, you step into it, because you are the power. You are the source energy, you are the source vibration, you are that power, that energy. It's not something outside of you, it is you. And it's like this notion of waiting for something is the limitation. It's like it's resisting something, it's efforting something to come into vibration, frequency, and reality, when actually once you've created it, it's there. And once you've created, it's always there. And the only reason you don't experience it is because of your consciousness. It's because your awareness. It's there. It's in that, once it's created in that pure consciousness and that pure reality, it's there. And all that you have to do is step into it, and that will be your reality. But you have to align with it. You have to sort of like be it, in a state of being and knowing that it's there, and then you step into it, so it's always there. So once created, nothing dies, nothing dissolves, or in a sense nothing sort of like, once you create something, it can never be sort of like uncreated. It's always there. So like when I'm saying this is why it's really important as well, when we look at our consciousness and what we create, that we create um levels of consciousness that are infinite, that are source, that are part of oneness, that we can see, that are harmonized, balanced, and pieced, within peace and stuff like that. We have to create in that way, because once created, it's always there. So anything created is always there. It can be dissolved and it can be aligned. Like dissolved, when I say dissolved, I mean like transmuted. And that's only by being more aware of consciousness and creation, and having an understanding that you can live in this frequency of oneness and alignment. And you do that. So like everything we've created within our lives energetically, which is everything, because all emotions and thoughts are energy. So once we've created them, they're there. Now that doesn't mean that you are stuck, or you are, all these energies, whether they were the choices you made with the tools you had at that time, whether you made what you call like a heart, like a good reality, or a good frequency of, that was aligned with you, that harmonized with it, or you did one where you weren't aware, and your consciousness was at a point where you created on a different frequency that wasn't quite aligned with your true nature, your essence, or your infinite self. Now that's still being created, but it's not something that you're stuck in. The past and the present and the future are all, these are all human terms of, that we sort of like we discuss, but really in true reality they're not, they don't exist. All you have is this now moment, and whatever happened in the past, whether, the only reason that you relive it sometimes is when you hit a frequency of consciousness or awareness where you recreate it, and then it becomes your reality again. But it's not it's not stuck. It's not permanent. And this is when they talk about like the universal laws, they talk about transmutation, or perpetual transmutation, and transformation. This is what they're talking about, that within the eternal moment, you know, there's always choices, and there's always energy that's accessible that you can dissolve and create and release things. And you know, we don't need to be stuck to things that happened within the past, or you know, and we don't need to be stuck on what's happening in the future. We just need to be here now. So in that sense, you know, we start to understand that by creating, you know, in the moment, everything is, you know, pure potential, pure opportunity. And you know, when I was talking about sort of like synchronicities, it's not out there; it comes and it's created through you, as you, and for you. So in that sort of like understanding, there's always a sacred space, or like a, you know, that there's like bliss, or there's like where you can sort of like be in bliss, and you can be this expansive space where you can, you know, you can create the, you know, new, not even new, but you can create within that pure consciousness, that pure moment, and you can create anything. There's infinite potential, infinite opportunity, and it's about living in that moment and knowing that you are that center of everything. And you know, when we talk about manifestation, that's another thing. You know, manifestation, when they talked about that in spiritual terms, they're always saying, you know, visualize all of this, which is the starting point. But the starting point is, you know, the next sort of evolution is knowing that you are the center of it, you are the creator of it. So the manifestation isn't out there; it's within you, and it all starts within you. And this is why they say, you know, if you want something, you create it within you first. And once you do that, then you start to then align with it, and that starts to become your reality. So if you want to be more peaceful, you want to be more harmonious, you want to be, you know, everything is just energy, you know, and you know, everything is a vibration and frequency. You know, abundance is a vibration and a frequency. You live in abundance. If you feel you're abundant in everything, in all aspects of your life, then limitation goes out of the window. But also, you know, you're not sitting there and thinking that you know that you need something, because it's already here. You know, it's already here now. And so it's like living in that vibration, that frequency, that everything is here now, and it always has been, and you've never been separate. And this is the new sort of, not the new, but it's the, I keep saying new vibration, new frequency, but it's the infinite frequency. It's the oneness vibration and frequency. This aspect of myself, of my human self, is to use words like new language, that, you know, is language that is used within human form, which is new and old, and you know, higher and lower, but actually it's infinite. And when you start living awareness and consciousness as an infinite being of source energy, you start to realize there is no separation in anything. There's just energy. And words, words and labels separate things, they limit things. But when you live in this source energy, you realize that everything is infinite, and there is no separation. There is only one, and that one vibration, that one frequency of the eternal moment and source is always available. There's nothing ever separate. The only time it's separate is when you use your consciousness or your awareness to separate yourself from it, and that's what you're doing. You're separating yourself from it, and this is what we do. And this is the new shift, the new shift again. This is the infinite shift. See, my language is being used as like in human form, as like saying new, old, stuff like that, and it's relatable, and it labels or how we relate to things. But living in source energy is no living in infinite. So it's not even new, old, high, low. It's just infinite, and it's always ever evolving, ever expanding, and it's always here, and there's no separation. It's just a oneness vibration. And when we can start to live, or not even live, but express through that vibration from our creator, our own source creator, our own creation, vibration and frequency, then we can start to um, create a reality that's more in harmony with our true selves, our infinite selves. And this is what with this time and this age is about. And even in using the word time, I'm using it in like a linear way, when it's not really, because like in these infinite source realities and vibrations, time doesn't exist. It's just one vibration, an eternal moment that's ever here vibrating, and that is our source energy. That's our source vibration. That's our source creator. So this time and age is about that, and this is what this insight was about. Is about this evolution, and even the word evolution, but it's a shifting of consciousness and awareness. It's a shifting of vibrations. It's a transmutation of vibrations. And again, transmutation is states of being living within that one consciousness, that one vibration and frequency of source energy, of the infinite source vibration experience and essence. And that's what that is. This is what this shifting is. This is what this understanding, that's what that time is about. It's living in that one vibration. And again, it's moving past linear, and it's moving into pure consciousness and creation. And this is what this time and age is about. And this is why I'm doing this insight today, because I feel like the energies that are integrating at this time, and at this time in this oneness moment, this oneness vibration, are very, very pure creation and pure frequency. And again, this is about us awakening, or it's even the word awakening, but it's remembering what we've always been. And when I use the word remembering, I use the word as in like consciously becoming aware again of our true essence, our true nature, our infinite selves. And this is what this time and age is about. And then time and age again is I'm using the word time, but really what I mean is it's been in the eternal moment, that eternal moment of now, and living within it. And that's what this age is about, and this is what this time is about. And I'm saying time because I'm framing it, but really there is no limit. There's just infinite potential. And this is the insight for today. And I wanted to do this today because I've been having a lot of these kind of um feelings of I go out regularly now, and I sit there and I get into a state of consciousness where the creator comes online. I feel this energy that is being created through me, from me, and for, like, through me, as me, and for me. And it's been created because I'm aligning with that, the eternal moment. And then I feel my energy glow, in a sense, within me, and then I step into it. And then when I step into it, then that reality starts to vibrate. And that, again, like I said, is coming from this formless realities. These formless realities are source energy in its infinite potential, and we all have access to it. There is no limitation. And this is the key thing, is especially at this time of the year, as we're going into the new year. Everybody talks about like new year's resolutions. Well, the biggest resolution should be to live consciously, to live in that now moment, and express and create your reality through you, as you, and for you. That should be your biggest new year's resolution. Bringing consciousness online, bringing awareness online, and living and expressing through your own creation and your own creator within you. That's what your New Year's resolution should be. All right, well, that's the insight for today. Please like, subscribe, comment, share. Comments would be great. Any questions? I'm sure I'm not the only person going through this on this reality, because I know we're all like one vibration, one frequency, and we're all going through stuff. And this is what this age and time is about. Individually, you're expressing through your source energy and your source vibration and your own creator, but collectively, we're one, as we are with the infinite dimensions.